All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Hello and good Monday evening once again to everybody here at the We Book It podcast. Thank you for joining us to another edition of Raw Dogg Monday. I am your host, Coach, and I am joined once again by my esteemed colleague and the CEO of the We Book It podcast and everything that you see going on behind the scenes. He needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyways. His name is Virgil.
Thank you, Coach, man. I appreciate you once again for having me on your show, man. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody that tunes in and watches these episodes, man. We put a lot of work in. Sick, cold, sleep, whatever, it doesn't matter. We strive to bring the very best wrestling podcast out there to you. And also, just a quick reminder, a quick plug. Do not forget, y'all, we have the very first edition of the Indie Corner coming up, this debuting this upcoming Wednesday, where we will spotlight an independent wrestler, and do an interview with them. You guys do not want to miss the very first episode. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you guys tune in to that.
Yeah, very excited for that to drop. It's a big step forward in our organization. So I'm very, very excited for it, and I hope you all are too. All right. So, Monday Night Raw, the digestion of Cena's final match has finally happened, and I think you could start to see that with how this opening segment went, because it wasn't like I thought it was going to be. You know what? I'll explain later, but let's go ahead and let's get started, because opening up, who else but Gunther to come into the ring and gathering all that heat for being the one to end John Cena's career and make him tap out. Did something he hasn't really done before, is that he gloated with his poses a lot more. Usually he just kind of stays in the ring and just poses in there and lets it all soak in. But this time he went on top of the announce table, went on top of the turnbuckles. So he was really just soaking it all in, trying to get that heat. And he only said just two lines. He said, "I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch." And that was it. That's all he needed to say. And the crowd, of course, very unhappy. The one thing I noticed, I think now that everything has happened, I mean, you think back to Saturday night, how hot that crowd was and how angry they were. Now, after everything's kind of settled, it looked more of like, okay, obviously they're still going to be angry at him, but it's not as much heat towards Gunther as I was expecting. Some people online were saying, "Oh, they toned down the boos." No, they didn't. No, the boos were still loud, but they just weren't as enticing as I thought they were going to be.
Right.
So the camera follows Gunther backstage. He insults Otis and Tozawa, insults R-Truth. Adam Pearce is angry with him, tells him to get out for the night. And as Gunther goes to his car, which oddly enough has been egged and everything, I love that little detail that they threw in there. AJ Styles is waiting for him. Gunther asks if AJ has anything to say. AJ says no, lets him get in his car. And as Gunther is getting ready to drive away, he does the "you can't see me" to AJ Styles and drives away. I mean, this did its job, and again, I was expecting
Mm-hmm.
a bigger reaction from the crowd. They did a good job of bringing the heat, but I, like I said, I think the digestion of everything, it usually takes somebody 24 hours to kind of regroup after a very emotional result or anything like that, or a very emotional match or game. Um, I kind of say that with my players is like take 24 hours, sleep on it, and then if you still have the same feelings from this game, then let's talk about it. And I think
Right.
a lot of people had that digestion of like, okay, like no, it wasn't what we wanted to see, but we understand it now. So it was underwhelming, but I still think a very solid segment. What did you think here, Virgil?
I do agree with you. I think it was underwhelming, but I do also think, like you said, it served its purpose. The purpose was for us to um understand that Gunther is still the man around here. Even though he lost to CM Punk, even though he lost his World Heavyweight Championship, he's still the man around here. And to be able to say that you retired John Cena and you retired Goldberg are two very, very huge claims to make. And
Mm-hmm.
again, they already starting to lay the seeds down for him and AJ Styles, which I know the fan base is really going to be behind AJ. Which I do suspect they probably will have a retirement match between the
Mm-hmm.
two, and I think that AJ will win. Like I said, I think he will beat Gunther. And I think that's why another reason why they put Gunther in this spot instead of LA Knight. LA Knight is injured for one, and then secondly is poised when he comes back to go on a meteoric run, according to all reports, finally being rewarded for his time of service of putting others over and doing all this other stuff for other people. So yeah, like you said, this was underwhelming, but it wasn't underwhelming because of Gunther. It was underwhelming because of the fan base. I think the fan base
Mm-hmm.
did not react like we thought they were going to react. It was not like I thought it was going to be. I envisioned Roman Reigns the night after he beat
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker at WrestleMania, that type of hate, where Roman couldn't even get a word out without them booing the hell out of him. It was not to that level. And like I said, I mean, a lot of people wanted to see Gunther kind of turn face too. I thought he had a face turn coming his way, but they're steady with him on this heel run. And I mean, it is what it is. It served its purpose, like you said.
Yeah, and I think one thing I noticed, I've somebody said this on X the other day that they always said Cena always said he was going to shake the hand of the man who beat him. That's going to be the next face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he technically already did that at SummerSlam when
Right.
Cody beat him. So
Right.
I like to think of it now, especially again after all the digestion, that Cena's goal during his retirement was to create the next big company babyface and the next big company heel. And
Yep.
I think that has been accomplished with Cody and with Gunther. And on top of that, also setting the pace for the future in Dom Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, I mean, there is a lot of things that get overlooked with this final match of Cena's, but it is over with. We move on, and we are, as Michael Cole kind of said, uh, professional wrestling beat sports entertainment. I think we're going to start to see a shift more towards that professional wrestling uh, attribute than sports entertainment.
Yeah. And I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I mean, obviously you want more of a real aspect, and like I said, the sports entertainment stuff is cool, but if you want to be taken seriously, then you need to get back to your roots of pro wrestling, where it's trash talk, where it's cutting relentless promos, where people are actually believed to have some spots that may go off the rails and might be actually more of a fight, like it looks more of like a shoot. So I don't hate any of those things. I really think that, these things are all necessary in order for WWE to survive and take that next step. So I'm not mad about it.
All right. Well, after all that, we get to our first match of the evening, which is a tag team match between the Usos and the New Day. Um, Grayson Waller also accompanied the New Day to ringside. You know, Joe Tessitore said it on the broadcast. These two have fought each other 44 times. That
Wow.
is insane, and you can see the chemistry 100% when they are working together.
Mm-hmm.
This match
And that's
wasn't
probably not including house shows.
right. That's definitely not including house shows. But this match in itself, I mean, it was okay. It was serviceable for Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have definitely seen these two teams steal the show,
Yep.
but I think what they put on was a pretty solid match. Nothing spectacular, but obviously the ending was the best part when uh, the Usos set up Kofi and Xavier for the double super kick, and
Mm-hmm.
then Kofi went for Trouble in Paradise, missed. Jimmy hit the spear, then tagged in Jay, and they both hit the 1D for the victory. And it looks like um, they will be the number one contenders for the tag team championship, which AJ Styles and Dragon Lee both commented backstage that they'll be ready for who's ever next in line. And I think they
Yep.
even commented that they're looking forward to facing the Usos. Virgil, what do you think of this opening match?
I think like you said, as a good opener, it's fine. These teams are a little bit older now, so like I said, they aren't doing all of the stuff that they were able to do maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. I think they hit their peak when they were on SmackDown Live fighting for the SmackDown Tag
Mm-hmm.
Team Championships. I think that was peak Usos tag team version and peak New Day tag team version, where you saw these guys go into Hell in a Cell and do a tag team Hell in a Cell match, all those different things like that. So those things all aside, you can never get a bad match per se out of these two teams just because they have so much chemistry and know each other, kind of what you alluded to. But at the same time, like I said, it wasn't their greatest match either. Excited to see what the Usos do. I do not expect the Usos to win the World Tag Team Championships. I actually expect Jay to turn on Jimmy.
Yep.
Actually, I think he's going to end up costing him I think he's going to end up costing him the titles. But you know,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
All right. Before we get to our next match, we do have a brief little segment between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and the Kabuki Warriors. It was announced that Io and Rhea would be facing the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championship on the January 5th edition of Monday Night Raw. Io and Rhea
Stacking
came
the
to the
card.
ring. Yeah. Came to the ring, looked like to do a promo, but as they were walking in, Asuka misted Rhea with her venom or whatever you want to call it, and then started attacking Io. They rolled Rhea into the ring, and they were getting ready. Kairi Sane was getting ready to do a stomp onto Rhea's chest. However, Io came in and rescued Rhea by laying in front of her and taking the hit, to which Kairi Sane was very distraught about, and you could almost see her
Mm,
forming tears with this as Asuka was gloating
mm-hmm.
to both as they were walking away, but Kairi Sane was very upset at this. When this first happened live, I was like, okay, so what's the point of this? Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
The beat down was happening. I was like, okay, so like you don't need to hype up this match. This match is already a pretty big match. But then
Right.
that happened with Kari Zane, and that's when I was like, okay, now I'm in now. I'm glad we put this in now because you can see
Yep.
that little glimmer of babyface coming back with Kari Zane. and how much she still loves Io. And
Right.
we've talked about this, that when Asuka and Kari first turned heel, Kari Zane was being bullied pretty much. And I
Mm-hmm.
had said this, that they are going to build this to where the crowd is going to feel sympathy for Kari Zane, and then when she turns on Asuka, the crowd's going to love it. They
And
kind of went away
I
with that.
honestly, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want
No,
to cut
you're
you off.
good.
Go ahead.
They kind of went away with that once they gave them the tag titles, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like, give them the tag titles, let them come in, and Kari Zane kind of found her footing in the ring and got her heel going. But tonight kind of reminded everyone of, like, here's the end game of the
Mm-hmm.
storyline with these two. Is it going to happen right away? No, but don't think we forgot about it. And I just think that was brilliant. Go ahead, Virgil. What
Yeah.
do you got?
So yeah, no, I agree with you. We did get a picture, a glimpse of the end game here, which is Kairi Sane eventually turning back babyface. What I would also like to see, and I've been clamoring for this, is for Rhea Ripley to turn heel. I like I said, I would not hate that one single solitary bit. I think that, if WWE were to spice things up by turning Rhea heel, back heel again. I mean, because what she's been a face now. Her hair is down her back and it's not extensions. And when last time she was a heel, she still had the side shaved of her head. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, she's been a baby face now for a very long time, probably about going on 2.5, almost 3 years. So a little time away for Rhea Ripley, and then potentially, like I said, after WrestleMania, a little time off for her, let her go chill with Buddy and whatnot, and then come back and be a heel. I don't think that would be a bad thing, especially if you are planning to bring Bianca Belair back. If you're planning to, like I said, call up some of these other NXT call ups. Sometimes it's good to go away for a bit. Becky Lynch went away for a bit. Bailey went away for a bit. Bianca's been going for almost a year now. Can you believe it? And like I said, I mean, and Naomi will be going for at least probably a year and a half. Liv Morgan was out of the picture for a while due to injury, but she's back now. So I mean, you gear up all your horses for Mania, but after Mania, it's not a bad idea to give Rhea Ripley a break and then bring her back on SmackDown with a fresh coat of paint as a heel. Or if you're really going to push Jade Cargill as a mega heel, then Rhea Ripley can't come back on SmackDown even as a face and go after that title that she has never held, the WWE Championship. So, like I said, either or, I'm fine with it. But like I said, a fresh coat of paint is needed for Rhea Ripley. I feel like her character's just getting a little bit stale.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens down the line. We go into our next match, which is a women's intercontinental championship match between Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. And, this was more of a showcase for Dupree on what she's been learning in the Heart Dungeon from Natalia. Did a lot of submission moves, had a great reversal on one of the moves against Ivy Nile. But it was just to show how far she has come, but yet the potential is still there for her.
Yep.
She has definitely looked so much better in the ring than when she first started. But either way, she put in the ankle lock, Nile tapped out, and Dupree got her first title defense done with a victory. I mean, this match served its purpose, but nothing crazy.
Yep. I like it because they're really building up Maxine Dupree, and you don't want to waste Becky Lynch putting you over. Because notice Becky Lynch hasn't come back after the Intercontinental Champion yet either. So you don't want to waste a Becky Lynch push putting you over. So like I said, if you're gonna do this, you gotta put the horses behind Maxine Dupree and make her believable. And kudos and credit to Maxine. She's the most serious one out of Chad Gable's whole original group, Like I said, I mean, and for what it's worth, she's the most accomplished one. I mean, Otis is a one-time Raw tag team champion, but that's it. You know, and Tozawa is what, like a 24/7 champion, but that's it. You know, as far as Maxine to be women's intercontinental champion, that's nothing to sniff at. And she can literally, if she can do ballet and beauty queen to like legit serious wrestler, I mean that's all the better, especially in this era, because there aren't many women that can do that. That can turn from just strictly a valet into a wrestler. So to credit to herself, Samantha Irvin wanted to get involved in matches. She didn't want to just be, you know, somebody who was, you know, being the ring announcer. She actually wanted to be a manager and take some bumps and learn how to work in the ring and stuff like that. So, kudos to Maxine Dupree. Like I said, much well deserved that IC championship, and they are going to debut somebody probably from NXT that is going to end up beating her for that title. I do foresee it, and I'm not mad about it. It'll happen.
Yeah, 100%. We get to our next segment, which is a CM Punk promo, basically going after Bron Breakker. Really, the only big thing was bringing up the Steiner brothers and talking about how the Steiners have a single-digit IQs. I mean, nothing crazy to go with that promo. Right. So we're just gonna skip on by that. We do get to our next match, though, which is a women's World Heavyweight Championship match between Stephanie Vicaire and Raquel Rodriguez. This one I was very excited for. It started out like we thought. Rodriguez using her height, using her strength to her advantage. Vicaire staying in the fight, making it competitive. She never felt like she was behind in the match, just kind of biding her time, waiting for her opponent to make a mistake. And it was really, really good. And you can tell these two women have good chemistry. And then Nikki Bella showed up.
Attacked
God. Both women.
Nikki Bella showed up.
Attacked both women. Ref called for the bell. And that was it.
So a triple threat match is on the way. And it's a way to protect Stephanie Vicaire and have her lose the championship without having to actually without having to have to eat the pin. And she can go and she can work on her promos, and she could probably win the Women's United States Championship, or she could win the IC Championship at WrestleMania. She's gonna have a big spot and a big entrance at Mania, and that's fine. That's totally cool. Again, I don't know, Coach. I have been a big proponent of working your way up the ranks. I think that Stephanie got pushed way too quick in a moment of panic and to do something new that she wasn't ready for. I almost would have rather them put the championship on Raquel Rodriguez when Naomi went down than to push Stephanie Vicaire, have her win this championship just for her to not really be able to cut a promo and not really be able to defend that championship like that on the shows. You know, I mean, like I said, it just, to me, or gave it to Pop Rocks, you know, like I said, but even still, I don't know. I just wish that they would not have rushed Stephanie. I wish they would have left her in NXT for another year, and let her really work on her promos and really, really get it together. I think she'll be a great ambassador for WWE. I think she'll be a great, but fuck Nikki Bella. And seriously, I don't mean that in a good way. Like I want to have sex with her. I mean, like really, like fuck Nikki Bella. Like seriously, we don't need this. Once again, guys, I guess it does have to happen if you're going to set up Liv and Raquel and keep Stephanie strong. But this doesn't have to happen, Triple H. Seriously, this don't have to happen. You don't have to do this. You can do anything else that you want. You don't have to do this.
All right. Well, we get to our next match, actually, pretty short here. We get to the main event of the evening, which is Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. Good back and forth. For some reason, the ref allowed Logan Paul to use his belt as a weapon. Very confused by that. That was just weird that that spot happened. But some good spots. Really liked the Mysterio baseball slide off the apron onto a lying Logan Paul on the outside. I thought that was pretty cool. Logan Paul mocked Eddie Guerrero by doing the Three Amigos, only for Rey to counter into a pop-up power bomb of his own off the turnbuckle. And right after that, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker started making their way to the ring. But CM Punk showed up with a chair and started hitting both of them, to which they fled. Paul Heyman then handed Logan Paul his brass knuckles. Mysterio tripped up Paul. Paul dropped the knuckles. Mysterio hit the 619, and just as he was getting ready to hit his leap, he noticed the brass knuckles, kind of picked him up as if he was going to use them. I'm not sure what he was going to actually do, only for the masked man to appear and stomp Rey Mysterio. Paul then got up on the turnbuckle, hit a frog splash for the victory. Afterwards, Logan Paul and the masked man have a stare down. Then CM Punk came running back out, and the masked man fled. And as CM Punk was telling him to reveal himself, who is it? It is Austin Theory with a fresh haircut. And
nice little buzz, eh?
yeah, and he's just standing there looking at CM Punk. And as CM Punk gets down from the turnbuckle, there's Bron Breakker to hit the spear. And he says, if you ever say something about my family again, I will definitely split you in half. And he picks up the title and prounces it around as the show goes to the end. My one thing about this, they just had Austin Theory standing there the entire time. Like, I get it at first, like, do the stare down with Punk, but then after, like, Breakers kind of does his thing and focuses on the title, like, they literally just had that man just standing there for about 5 minutes. I'm like, come on, like, at least let him, like, start walking up the stairs and then maybe do, like, a little turnaround or something like that. He just stood there. Now, I will say this. The crowd started chanting Austin Theory's name, which I think is the first time that has ever happened in his career.
Yes. At least on the main roster level. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this, I think the people were excited that this is actually something new.
Yep.
And it looks like Theory will be joining the Vision fairly soon.
Yep.
But Virgil, what do you think of this main event and Raw overall?
Raw overall, I would give it a B+ show. Obviously, they are setting up to the big Raw on January 5th, and we'll see more matches play out to that. They may treat that Raw as a PLE almost, and really, really, really give you some good matches there. Like I said, we have 2 title matches already set for that Raw. Obviously, the World Championship match as well as the Women's Tag Team Championship match. which will just end up in another run in. That match will not end with the championships changing hands. Somebody else is going to run in because they're really trying to wait to build this up for a spot either at Rumble or Mania, maybe. I don't know. Probably not Rumble. Maybe Elimination Chamber in Chicago. We'll see. Either way, yeah. So that's that. As far as this main event goes, guys, I'm so happy for Austin Theory. Now the real work begins. And we will see how much he has grown and how much he has overcome in his time away. Has he worked on his promos? Has Paul Heyman started really tutoring him and mentoring him and teaching him how to be cool? You got to have the cash. You have the cachet now. You have the backing. If you're a part of this group, that means you mean something. And that means you're headed in the right direction. That means you're looked at as the future of this business. Also very curious to see his first interaction with Grayson Waller and how he treats him, because that's going to tell a big part too in all of this. He has to really beat the hell out of Grayson Waller when he sees him. Like treat the mess out of him. Which in turn could turn Grayson Waller babyface, which fans really want to like Grayson Waller too. So, and he doesn't have to be the New Day's lackey. He doesn't have to be Big G. He can actually be on his own because he can hold his own on the mic and in the ring.
Right.
But as far as Austin Theory goes, the real work begins now. You have all the accolades, all the accomplishments. You're a United States champion. You're a Money in the Bank winner. Now it's time for you to step really into that spot and show why you have been given all of these things from the time you were in NXT all the way into the WWE. So because if this one don't work, it's a wrap for Austin Theory.
Yep. Yeah, I think the main event was not bad. Was happy that we finally got to see who the Masked Man is. I'm wondering if the curb stomp is something new for Austin Theory's arsenal.
I don't hate it.
I think that's intriguing to add for him. But other than that, I think, yeah, solid show. Nothing too crazy happened besides the Theory reveal. But after that, this was kind of a forgettable Monday Night Raw besides the beginning and the ending of it with Gunther and Austin Theory. So I think I'm going to give it a C+.
Yep.
But that's not a bad thing. This is not a critique on the performers or anything. It's more not just very little story development happened, but it's going to lead to big things. They're hyping up the January 5th episode of Monday Night Raw as the 1-year anniversary for Netflix. So we shall see what happens there. And thank you to everyone who has hung around this far. Thank you for tuning into another edition of Monday Night Raw Dogg. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to all of our content here at the We Book It podcast. Don't forget, on Wednesday, we have our very first interview with excuse me. Sorry, everybody. I'm battling a cold here, and my throat's been tickling a lot. But we have our first debut episode of the Indie Corner. As Virgil said, Virgil sitting down with independent wrestlers, asking them questions about their journey and everything that they have been going through and why they want to get into wrestling in the first place. It is very intriguing stuff. Loved our first guest on. Hopefully, have her be a recurring guest. We'll see from there, but you're all going to have to find out when you watch on Wednesday when the Indie Corner drops. For Virgil, I am Coach. We will see you next week on another edition of Monday Night Raw Dogg.